What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, and this is Does It Suck? The show where we take a deep dive look at a new game and see what's good or bad about it. Now, today we're going to be talking about Metal Slug Tactics because they just released a free demo for it that is incredibly crazy good, and I really want to pick it apart, the positives and the negatives. Now, let me be clear, this is obviously a very incomplete game. It doesn't have controller support, you can only play it on Steam, it has a lot of issues like graphically here and there and stuff, but there is no denying that Metal Slug Tactics is incredibly fun, and I have to say, it's a remarkable departure from the games you might expect. This is a roguelike strategy game where every time you play it, it is going to be different. But let me try and break down the gameplay and the upgrades separately because there is a lot to unpack. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, let's start off by explaining how tactical RPGs work in case you've never played one. Like, obviously, the standard Metal Slug games are just run and gun action shooters. They're the kind of game where you're trying to kill the last boss before you run out of quarters. Whereas Tactics here, this is a phase-based turn game. So you, as the player, get a chance to control your units and you have to try and outmaneuver your opponents, shooting, using special abilities, and sometimes just driving tanks and trying to kill them before they wipe you out. So what makes this so incredibly fun is that, honestly, it's kind of difficult. So in this demo, there's 4 separate characters you can play as. One is unlocked by defeating the last boss of the demo. There's dozens of weapons, tons of different missions, but of everything I have played so far, everything shoots in a straight line. So stuff like grenade launchers, heavy machine guns, pistols, everything for the most part hits in a specific direction. There is no diagonal aiming. So when you want to hit people, everything is done with move stats. Like some people can move 3 spaces or 4 spaces. Some people can jump up onto platforms better than others, but the way this really works is that you're trying to get yourself lined up to hit people as cleanly as possible without them completely overwhelming you. Now, there's 2 parts of this that are incredibly cool. The first, though, is sync. Whenever you get one of your people in range to try and do one of these basic attacks or a super attack or whatever, if another person is also has the opponent in their line of sights, like you're aiming with your pistol and another person is also currently aiming their pistol, you can both attack, but it only costs the current player their turn. So if I'm playing with 2 dudes, one of them a dude and one of them a chick, and he has a shot lined up, they both get to do the strike damage, even though it only costs him his attack turn. So they can't actually line up. If you're very careful, you can do multiple sync attacks in a single turn to do double, triple, or quadruple damage, and it is incredibly cool that you can do that. But here's the other part of it that's actually really nice. This game has such an interesting style of defense. So when you're running around, sometimes you'll get special dodge bonuses. It's essentially free hits. You can get shot and it won't start taking off your health yet, but when you're running around, you can also crouch behind cover. Now, what's cool about this is that it doesn't matter if they shoot the cover itself, you're getting the defensive bonus of it. So I had a character that got bonus from this. While he was in cover, he would do more damage and also take less damage. So just by crouching next to something, you can get 3 or 4 bonus life that gets hit before your actual HP bar goes down. That is incredibly fun, but there's also super attacks. While you're doing stuff, you build up this energy called adrenaline, and kind of think of it as mana. It's something that allows you to heal, do super strikes, or just sometimes do special things like make it so your next turn you'll have 2 attacks instead of 1. But I think that all these mechanics work really well because of the randomized missions. Some objectives you're trying to protect a civilian or escape an area or sometimes just survive 5 incredibly brutal turns against an onslaught of opponents. I think the randomness of this is so incredibly cool. Now, the other part of this is the upgrade system. And I have to talk about this separately because it complements the gameplay, even though it is just such a big separate piece. So whenever you're picking missions on the map, you can see what the objective is to see what the mission actually is going to be, but also what the rewards are, whether it is extra XP or money to buy permanent upgrades like a lot of roguelikes have. You can like upgrade special tweaks and mods to your guns, but you can also just straight up get extra lives. When people die, you can revive them by essentially inserting a quarter. You can keep bringing them back, and I used a lot of revives, so I definitely appreciated that reinforcement system. But the other part of this is that whenever you finish a mission, the better you did, if you accomplish the bonus objectives and stuff like that, you get experience points and your characters level up. Now, you can get special new adrenaline skills that'll do even more damage or let you do crazy extra ultimate attacks, but you can also get passive bonuses, stuff that gives you an extra attack if you use an adrenaline move. There's ones that let you actually rocket boot across the map or pick up people. Like, these passive bonuses and these active bonuses are so radically different, and each time you get 3 to choose from, which does make me think that there is not only going to be a strategy to this, but it is one of those games where, because it is just so free form, it's constantly constructing the roguelike in front of you, this does seem like the kind of game where you can play it over and over again, and it's a completely different experience. Now, I will say, the last boss of this demo completely crushed me. I'm not even going to lie. I think part of it was that it takes about 45 minutes to get to the boss, and that's not even counting like the 10 minutes I spent in the tutorial. But when you fight him, he is incredibly brutal, but you have all those skills. So I feel like there is a separate strategy to this game to picking the bonuses that are going to complement your build the most. Like if you're going to try and go long range or get sniper rifles, or if you're trying to just pack as many explosive as possible and stack all of your damage into the grenade launcher perks and stuff like that. This is definitely one of those roguelikes where you need to be aware of how your bonuses are actually working and playing off each other so you can strategically build yourself out from the very beginning of a run, or else the boss is going to utterly steamroll you. So I have not been able to beat the last boss, even after having done 2 45-minute attempts, but man, is this game so fun. Everything about this demo just completely blew me away because it is just such a weird side game from standard Metal Slug goodness, but it functions at such a high level. I would say I do want to get weapons that can shoot diagonally. I haven't upgraded or unlocked any of those ones yet, but if there is hypothetically a gun that can shoot diagonal, maybe the entire system is grid-based, so I'll never get that, but there are definitely times where I was on top of a building where I wanted to be able to hit somebody far away, and I was like, oh, sorry, they're not in a straight line. But other than that, every part of this game, I'm so curious to see how it's going to develop. I'm not sure if this has a release date yet. This current build doesn't even work on Steam Deck or anything like that. But man, whenever Metal Slug Tactics actually gets done, this is a game that now has my full attention. But what do you guys think about this? Are you excited about this? Does this seem too bizarre? I do want to say that if you are a fan of something like Final Fantasy Tactics or Onimusha Tactics or Tactics Ogre, like, okay, any game that has tactics in it, this is the new Tactics greatness. Be sure to download the demo and try it yourself because, I mean, it's free. Check it out. Okay, well, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. And thank you to .emu. They actually sent me this. I have early access to this. I've been playing it for a couple days. So I appreciate you guys sending me the demo early to play around with it. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.